Hi, what I'm going to show you today is how to create this map page, which shows a map with a heat map, a search bar, and a set of tweet results, which are geocoded. So first of all, I'm going to go into Configure App and blow this one away. Boom, there it goes. And then I'm going to create a new page, which I'll call Map. Again, go in and I've got to provide it a URL, otherwise it absolutely won't work. It's got to have a / and it's got to end in .html5. Today I'm just going to use a column. You can plug in other layouts, so I'm just going to use a single column layout for now. The widgets I want are a search bar on the top of the page. That doesn't have any configuration of its own. I then want an open layers mapping widget. And at the bottom of the page I of course want the search results as well, so I'll drop that down there too, and there you see it. So what I'm going to do is provide a bit of configuration in here. So I'm going to allow these two, actually I'm going to leave them for now, I'm going to leave these two layers alone. I have to provide a selection constraint, so if I want to be able to highlight a region, I need to tell the widget which search constraint that links to. So I know that in my search options I uploaded in video 001 that this is called location. Also a start point, because the start point of the map might be different from the start point of the search. It might be more zoomed out, centered differently, that sort of thing. So I'm going to center this around Rio de Janeiro. Now I happen to know, because I've looked this up, is that this is located at here. And the good start zoom level is 11, that's kind of city level as well. Now that gives me a start position, but it doesn't give me any ability to see a heat map or show information. For that, what I've got to do is configure a series. In the future you'll be able to configure multiple series, but for now there's just one. So the series name I'm going to call tweets, because that's what data it's going to be showing. I'll need to specify a search context there later. I'm going to leave these pieces. These pieces are really to extract information from each search result for showing markers on the page. I've not got that working via workplace yet. I've got it working in code. So I'll show you that next time. And again, the heat map constraint is going to be location as well. That's what I'm generating it on. It could theoretically be a different heat map. It could be the center point rather than the edge point, that sort of thing. And selection I'm not particularly bothered about. I'm just going to leave it as append. So I also then need, of course, a search context to link all these things together. I'll click on search context, link all these widgets together. If I don't specify any JSON search options from the REST API there, or specify the name of the search options on the server, then it defaults to a named search options of all. It will try and look them up on the server. I'm going to leave these other options blank today. If you want to know what they are, you can mouse over them and you'll get a response back. I'm going to leave that as a search. Then remember, need to go back to the widget and configure a search context. That's not working yet, so if I go in here and go back in, we'll see search context 1 is what I can now select. So that's now selected. So I'm going to save that again just to make sure it's got it. Then I'm going to go and view the map. Okay, so here we go. We've got our search. It's centered on Rio de Janeiro perfectly, but you notice there's no results. Now if I hit search there, then the results and the heat maps show up. So ideally what I want is that to happen by default on the page. Just a few things about this map widget. You can kind of zoom out and it executes and rejigs the heat map again. You can zoom in, does the same thing. You can move around the map by dragging it, and again it recenters it and changes the heat map. But I can also select different areas. So I can also, for example, if I zoom in a little bit to this area, I can select an area. So I can select just a polygon area like this, and it restricts all the results and therefore the heat map to that. All these results are within the area. It's just that the way the heat maps work is they give an average for a particular zone. So if we zoom in long enough, we'll see that in fact there are no tweets within our zone. It's just the way it calculates the heat map. It makes it appear as if somewhere outside the zone when they're really not. I could equally though clear that selection and do a freehand select. So for example, if I wanted to select just the tweets around these streets, I could do this, hold down shift and trace along the line of the roads there, like that, and you see you just get those tweets within that area. So that's a pretty complex polygon with lots and lots of different points, but it still executes in sub-second because MarkLogic is awesome. We also see the results down there. But what I want to also show you is this. So this is the layers. So by default, OpenStreetMap's a base layer, and this uses W3C cores to go and fetch the tiles. Heat map, which you can't hide because that's just the way it's configured. The selection layer, so you see the selection there in orange. I can hide that if that's beginning to annoy me. And if you do have the markers enabled, then you can show and hide those markers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow you to show different types of maps on here, and I'm also going to execute that search by default. So if I click on configure page, I'm not going to show Google Street Layer because it runs really slow. That's just because the way Google works, so I'm not going to do that. ArcGIS Online I'm going to allow, and various Bing map layers I'm going to allow. What else did I say I was going to do? Oh yes, an action. So on page load I want to execute a search. So I select my search context there. I'll select what query I'm going to do. I'm just going to do a simple query with no parameters. That should give me the result I want. And there you go, you see it working. So if I click on map again, in case it happens too fast for you, you see that that is happening there. You're getting the search happen, and you're getting the results there. So if I zoom in there, you see you get the heat map more specifically generated. If you click on layers, we see that we can switch what our mapping layer is. So I can switch to ArcGIS Online, which is a pretty cool mapping layer that Esri provide. I think just as a demo for their services. You can also switch to Bing Road. So if I zoom in here, you see that's very much a road map type of level of detail. I can have a hybrid, so a hybrid between aerial and road map. So you still see the roads and the names. Or I can switch purely to aerial there, so I just see the aerial view, or straight back to street map again. So hopefully you've seen that there's quite a lot of functionality here, and how easy it is to create a really advanced geospatial page in MarkLogic with the MLJS workplace. Thanks very much for your time.